Mythological chronicles of Greek mythology, the rise of Thalassios. Tonight, we explore the mythic tale of Thalassios, the son of Poseidon, whose very name echoes through the waves of the Aegean Sea, a name whispered by sailors and sung by the winds. In the twilight of the ancient world, when gods walked among mortals, and the earth trembled beneath the weight of their ambitions, Thalassios emerged from the depths of the ocean, a figure sculpted by salt and sun, destined to carve his legacy into the annals of time. Born in the sapphire embrace of the sea, Thalassios was no ordinary child. His cradle was a shell, adorned with pearls and shimmering corals, cradled by the gentle currents of the Nereids, the sea nymphs who danced and sang around him. His father, Poseidon, the Earthshaker, lord of the oceans, had gazed upon the horizon and, in a moment of divine inspiration, summoned forth a son who would bridge the realms of mortals and deities. His mother, a mortal woman named Callista, a priestess of Amphitrite, had been chosen by the god himself, her beauty rivaling that of the dawn, her spirit as fierce as the storms that raged upon the sea. As Thalassios grew, the ocean became his playground, and the creatures of the deep his companions. He learned the language of the waves, the whispers of the tides, and the secrets hidden beneath the surface. His laughter mingled with the crashing of the surf, and his heart beat in time with the rhythm of the tides. Yet, even as he reveled in the wonders of his watery home, a storm brewed on the horizon, one that would call him to a destiny far greater than he could imagine. The ancient world was a tapestry woven with the threads of gods and mortals, a realm where Olympus loomed high above the clouds, its marble columns gleaming in the sun. The gods, with their capricious whims and eternal rivalries, cast long shadows over the lives of men. In the city of Athens, where wisdom and beauty flourished, the people revered Athena, the goddess of wisdom, who guided their thoughts and inspired their art. Yet beneath the surface of this golden age, a darkness stirred, a prophecy whispered among the oracles, foretelling a great calamity that would befall the land. A calamity that would require the courage of a hero born of the sea. One fateful day, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of crimson and gold, Thalassios stood upon the rocky cliffs of his homeland, gazing out at the vast expanse of the ocean. The waves crashed against the rocks, sending sprays of salt water into the air, and the wind tousled his dark hair, wild and free like the sea itself. It was here, at the edge of the world, that he felt the call of adventure tugging at his heart, a yearning to explore the lands beyond the horizon, to seek out the mysteries that lay hidden in the depths of the earth and the heights of the heavens. "Father," he called, his voice rising above the roar of the waves, "what lies beyond the sea? What treasures await those brave enough to seek them?" From the depths of the ocean, a voice like thunder rumbled, resonating through the very marrow of the earth. "Thalassios, my son, the world is vast and filled with wonders, but it is also fraught with peril. The tides of fate are ever changing, and the path you choose will shape not only your destiny, but the destiny of all who dwell upon the land." Thalassios felt the weight of his father's words, yet they ignited a fire within him, a thirst for knowledge and adventure that could not be quenched. "I will not shy away from the challenges that lie ahead. I will seek the truth of my heritage and the legacy that awaits me." With that declaration, the winds shifted, swirling around him like a tempest, and the ocean roared in approval. It was a moment of awakening, a turning point that would set him on a journey fraught with trials and tribulations, where he would encounter gods and monsters, allies and foes, and ultimately discover the true nature of his being. As the moon rose high in the sky, casting a silvery glow upon the waters, Thalassios took his first steps into the unknown. He donned a tunic woven from the finest sea silk, shimmering like the scales of a fish, and adorned himself with a necklace of coral and shells, tokens of his lineage. With each step, he felt the pulse of the ocean beneath his feet, a reminder of the power that coursed through his veins. His journey began on the shores of Aegina, a bustling port city where merchants traded goods from distant lands, and the air was thick with the scent of salt and spices. The sun rose over the horizon, illuminating the bustling marketplace, where the cries of vendors mingled with the laughter of children playing by the water's edge. It was a world alive with color and sound, a stark contrast to the tranquil depths of his ocean home. "Look, a son of Poseidon," a merchant shouted, pointing at Thalassios as he strode through the market, his presence commanding attention. The sea god's blood runs through his veins. The crowd parted, eyes wide with awe and curiosity. Thalassios felt their gaze upon him, a mixture of reverence and expectation. He was not merely a boy. He was a living embodiment of the ocean's might, a harbinger of change. "Come, son of the sea," a wise old woman called, her voice crackling like the fire of a hearth. "The fates have woven your destiny into the tapestry of our lives. Seek the oracle, for she holds the key to your future." Intrigued, Thalassios followed the woman through the winding streets, past vibrant stalls adorned with fruits and textiles, until they reached a temple dedicated to Apollo, the god of prophecy. The air crackled with energy, and the scent of incense filled his lungs as he stepped inside. The cool stone walls a stark contrast to the heat of the sun outside. In the heart of the temple, the oracle sat upon a throne of polished marble, her eyes clouded with visions of the past and future. "Thalassios, son of Poseidon," she intoned, her voice echoing like the crashing waves. "You seek answers, but know this: the path you tread is fraught with danger. The prophecy speaks of a great darkness that will rise from the depths, threatening the very fabric of existence. Only one born of the sea can quell this storm." Thalassios felt a chill run down his spine, the weight of her words settling heavily upon his shoulders. "What must I do?" he asked, his voice steady despite the turmoil within. "To find the source of this darkness, you must journey to the Isle of Shadows, where the ancient titan Kronos lies imprisoned. There, you will uncover the truth of your lineage and the power that lies within you. But beware, for the path is treacherous, and many will seek to thwart your quest." With those words, the oracle raised her hands, and a vision unfolded before Thalassios. A swirling tempest of shadows and light, a battle between the forces of chaos and order. He saw himself standing at the center, wielding the trident forged from the heart of the ocean, a weapon that could either save or destroy. As the vision faded, Thalassios felt a surge of determination. He would not shy away from his destiny. With the blessings of Poseidon and the guidance of the oracle, he would embark on a quest that would test his strength, his courage, and his very soul. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows across the temple as Thalassios emerged, the weight of his purpose settling upon him like a mantle. He turned to the old woman who had guided him here, gratitude swelling in his heart. "Thank you for leading me to the oracle. I will heed her words."
"Remember, young hero," she replied, her eyes glinting with wisdom. "The sea is both a friend and a foe. Trust in your heart, and it will guide you through the storms that lie ahead." With those parting words, Thalasios set forth on his journey, the sun setting behind him, painting the sky in hues of purple and gold. He felt the call of the ocean within him, a reminder of his heritage, and as he walked along the shoreline, the waves lapped at his feet, urging him onward. The path ahead was shrouded in uncertainty, yet Thalasios embraced the unknown with open arms. He would gather allies, face foes, and uncover the truth of his lineage, all while the shadows of destiny loomed ever closer. The world was vast, and adventure awaited him at every turn. As night fell, the stars twinkled above like the eyes of ancient gods, watching over him as he ventured into the darkness. The journey of Thalasios had begun, and the tides of fate were shifting, heralding the rise of a hero born of the sea. And so, the first chapter of his epic tale unfurled, a tapestry woven with the threads of courage, destiny, and the eternal struggle between light and darkness. The waves whispered his name, and the winds carried his spirit forth, beckoning him to embrace the adventure that lay ahead. But little did he know, the shadows were already stirring, and the darkness that threatened to engulf the world was watching, waiting for the moment to strike. Thus the story of Thalasios, son of Poseidon, began. A tale of myth and legend, where the ocean's depths held secrets untold, and the journey of a hero would shape the fate of all. To be continued. The Trials of Aelios, Part 2, The Whispering Shadows. In the land where the sun kissed the horizon, and the mountains wore crowns of mist, Aelios stood at the edge of the world he once knew. The air was thick with the scent of salt, and the distant cries of gulls echoed like the whispers of ancient spirits. His heart, a tempest of hope and trepidation, beat in rhythm with the waves crashing against the rocky shore. The sun dipped low, casting a golden hue over the sea, but Aelios felt the weight of darkness creeping into his soul. The prophecy had been clear. To reclaim the light, you must brave the shadows. But what did that truly mean? The words of the oracle still echoed in his mind, a haunting melody that both guided and tormented him. He had already faced the wrath of the sea nymphs, their laughter a cruel reminder of his own mortality. Yet the journey had only just begun. As the last rays of sunlight surrendered to the encroaching night, Aelios turned his gaze toward the horizon, where the fabled Isle of Elysia lay shrouded in mist. It was said to be a sanctuary for lost souls, a place where the boundaries between the living and the dead blurred. Here, he hoped to find the wisdom of the ancients, the guidance he so desperately sought. But the path was fraught with peril, and the shadows whispered of trials yet to come. With a deep breath, Aelios stepped onto the narrow boat that would carry him across the treacherous waters. The vessel creaked under his weight, a wooden beast that seemed to shudder at the thought of the journey ahead. As he rowed, the waves danced like spirits, swirling around him, taunting him with their unpredictable nature. The moon rose high, a silver sentinel watching over his passage, illuminating the way with its ethereal glow. Suddenly, a chilling wind swept across the water, carrying with it the scent of decay and despair. Aelios shivered, his skin prickling as he felt the presence of something otherworldly. From the depths of the sea, a figure emerged, cloaked in shadows. With eyes that glimmered like dying stars, it was Nyx, the primordial goddess of night, her voice a soft caress that belied the danger she embodied. Aelios, seeker of light, she intoned, her voice echoing like a distant thunder. What brings you to the realm of shadows?
His heart raced, for Nyx was not a deity to be trifled with. I seek wisdom, great goddess. I must learn how to reclaim the light that has been stolen from my world. A sly smile danced upon her lips, revealing the sharpness of her teeth. Wisdom comes at a price, young hero. Are you willing to pay it? Aelios hesitated, the weight of her words pressing down upon him. What must I sacrifice? Your memories, she replied, her eyes glinting with mischief. All that you hold dear, the moments that define you. In exchange, I shall grant you the knowledge you seek. The very air around him crackled with tension, and Aelios felt the pull of his past, a tapestry woven with laughter, love, and loss. To relinquish it would be to sever the ties that bound him to his humanity. Yet the vision of a world shrouded in darkness, where despair reigned supreme, ignited a fire within him. I accept, he declared, his voice steady despite the turmoil within. With a wave of her hand, Nyx summoned a swirling vortex of shadows that enveloped Aelios, pulling him into a realm of memories. He felt them slip away like grains of sand through his fingers. His mother's laughter, the warmth of his father's embrace, the joy of his childhood friends. Each memory faded into the void, leaving a hollow ache in his chest. But as the last fragment of his past dissolved, a surge of knowledge flooded his mind, illuminating the darkness with clarity. Seek the heart of Elysia, Nyx whispered, her voice echoing in the depths of his consciousness. There lies the key to your quest, but beware, for the shadows will test your resolve. With that, she vanished, leaving Aelios alone on the boat, adrift in a sea of uncertainty. The moonlight shimmered on the water, guiding him toward the Isle of Elysia, but the weight of his sacrifice hung heavy upon him. He had traded his past for a chance at salvation, and now he must forge a new path in a world that felt foreign and cold. As dawn broke, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Aelios reached the shores of Elysia. The island was a paradise, a stark contrast to the darkness he had just encountered. Lush greenery enveloped him. Vibrant flowers bloomed in riotous colors, and the air was sweet with the scent of jasmine. Yet, beneath the beauty lay an unsettling stillness, as if the island itself held its breath, waiting for something to unfold. He stepped onto the soft sand, his feet sinking into the warmth of the earth. The sound of laughter drifted through the trees, a melody that tugged at the remnants of his memories. Aelios followed the sound, his heart racing with anticipation. As he ventured deeper into the island, he stumbled upon a clearing where ethereal figures danced in a circle, their movements fluid and graceful. They were the souls of Elysia, trapped between realms, their joy tinged with sorrow. "Welcome, traveler," one of the spirits called, her voice like the tinkling of bells. "We are the lost, the forgotten, and we have awaited your arrival." Aelios felt a pang of longing as he watched them, their laughter a bittersweet reminder of what he had sacrificed. "I seek the heart of Elysia," he said, his voice steady despite the turmoil within. "Can you guide me?" The spirits exchanged glances, their expressions shifting from joy to concern. "The heart is guarded by the Keeper of Shadows," another spirit warned, her eyes darkening. "To reach it, you must face your greatest fears." Aelios swallowed hard, the weight of their words settling upon him like a shroud. "What must I do?" "Follow the path of the ancients," the first spirit instructed, pointing toward a narrow trail that wound through the dense forest. "But be wary, for the Keeper will reveal the darkness within you. Only by confronting it can you hope to claim the heart."
With a nod of determination, Aelios set forth, the spirit's laughter fading into the distance. The path twisted and turned, leading him deeper into the heart of the island. The trees loomed overhead, their branches intertwining like skeletal fingers, casting eerie shadows upon the ground. Each step felt heavier, as if the very earth conspired to hold him back. As he ventured further, the air grew thick with tension, and the whispers of the shadows grew louder, echoing his doubts and fears. "You are nothing without your memories," they taunted, their voices a cacophony of despair. "You will never reclaim the light." Aelios clenched his fists, fighting against the tide of darkness that threatened to engulf him. "I am more than my past," he declared, his voice ringing with conviction. "I am the sum of my choices, my courage, and my will to fight." But the shadows only laughed, their voices swirling around him like a tempest. "Then face the truth, Aelios. Face the darkness that lies within." Suddenly, the ground beneath him trembled, and a figure emerged from the shadows. A tall, imposing figure, cloaked in darkness, with eyes that burned like embers. It was the Keeper of Shadows, a being of ancient power, and Aelios felt the weight of his gaze pierce through him. "Welcome, Seeker," the Keeper intoned, his voice a low rumble that resonated through the air. "You have come to claim the heart of Elysia, but first, you must confront the shadows that dwell within your soul." Aelios stood tall, his heart pounding in his chest. "I am ready," he declared, though doubt gnawed at the edges of his resolve. The Keeper raised a hand, and the shadows coalesced around Aelios, forming images that danced before his eyes, visions of his past, of moments he had cherished, now twisted into grotesque parodies. He saw his mother's face, but her eyes were hollow, her smile a grimace of despair. He saw his father, a figure of strength, now crumbling into dust. Friends he had laughed with now stood as specters, their laughter replaced by wails of anguish. "No!" Aelios shouted, stepping back as the shadows closed in around him. "This is not who I am, is it not?" the Keeper challenged, his voice echoing like thunder. "These are the fears that haunt you, the memories you have forsaken. You cannot escape them." Aelios felt the weight of despair pressing down upon him, but within that darkness, a flicker of light ignited, a memory of warmth, of love, of the bonds that had shaped him. "I am not defined by my fears," he said, his voice steadying. "I am defined by my choices,
my courage to rise above them. With each word, the shadows began to recede, their hold on him weakening. The keeper's expression shifted, surprise flickering in his ember-like eyes. "You possess a strength I did not foresee," he acknowledged, his voice tinged with respect. But the journey is not yet over. With a wave of his hand, the keeper summoned a swirling vortex of shadows that enveloped Aelios once more. This time, he was thrust into a realm of darkness, where the air was thick with despair, and the ground trembled beneath his feet. He found himself standing in a desolate landscape, a barren wasteland devoid of life. Before him stood a figure, cloaked in shadows, a mirror of his own fears. "You cannot escape me," it hissed, its voice a chilling echo of his own. "I am the darkness within you." Aelios felt his heart race, but he stood firm, drawing upon the light that flickered within. "You are not my master," he declared, his voice ringing with defiance. "I will not be bound by your chains." With each word, the shadows began to dissolve, revealing the truth beneath, the pain, the loss, the memories he had fought to forget. But within that pain lay a strength he had never realized he possessed. "I embrace you," he whispered, his voice steady. "You are a part of me, but you do not define me." As he spoke, the darkness shattered like glass, scattering into 1,000 fragments that sparkled in the air like stars. Aelios felt a surge of power coursing through him, a light that banished the shadows and illuminated the path ahead. The Keeper of Shadows watched in silence, his expression inscrutable. "You have faced your fears and emerged stronger," he said, his voice a low rumble. "You are worthy of the heart of Elysia." With a wave of his hand, the shadows parted, revealing a radiant heart pulsating with light at the center of the clearing. Aelios stepped forward, his heart racing with anticipation. As he reached for the heart, a surge of energy enveloped him, filling him with warmth and clarity. The light coursed through his veins, igniting a fire within him that banished the remnants of darkness. In that moment, Aelios understood. The heart of Elysia was not just a relic of power. It was a symbol of hope, a reminder that even in the depths of despair, light could be reclaimed. He had faced the shadows within himself and emerged victorious, a testament to the strength of the human spirit. As he held the heart in his hands, the Keeper of Shadows bowed his head, a gesture of respect. "You have proven yourself, Aelios. The journey ahead will be fraught with challenges, but you possess the light to guide you." With newfound determination, Aelios turned toward the path that lay ahead, the heart of Elysia pulsing with energy in his grasp. The shadows had been vanquished, but the journey was far from over. He would face new trials, confront new adversaries, and uncover the truth that lay hidden in the depths of the world. As he stepped forward, the island around him shimmered with life, the spirits of Elysia rejoicing in his triumph. Aelios felt their joy resonate within him, a reminder that he was never truly alone. The light of the heart would guide him, illuminating the path toward his ultimate goal, the reclamation of the light that had been stolen from his world. And so, with the heart of Elysia beating in harmony with his own, Aelios set forth into the unknown, ready to face whatever challenges awaited him. The shadows may have whispered their doubts, but he had emerged stronger, a beacon of hope in a world that desperately needed it. The journey continued, and with each step, Aelios felt the weight of destiny upon his shoulders, a mantle he was ready to bear. The trials ahead would test his resolve, but he was no longer just a seeker of light. He was a warrior, forged in the fires of darkness, and he would not falter. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a golden glow over the Isle of Elysia, Aelios knew that the true adventure had only just begun. The heart pulsed with promise, and the shadows had been silenced, if only for a moment. The world awaited him, and he would rise to meet it, a hero reborn in the light of hope, a burden that seemed to grow with each passing day. He had ventured far from the comforts of his home in Athens, driven by the prophecy that foretold his destiny to reclaim the lost relic of Etheria, the heart of the sky, a jewel sent to hold the power to unite the fractured realms of the gods and mortals. As he stood upon the precipice of a steep cliff, the wind tousled his dark hair, carrying with it the scent of impending rain. Below, the river Alpheus wound its way through the valley like a silver serpent, glistening in the fading light. But it was not the beauty of the landscape that held his attention. It was the vision that had haunted him since he first set out on this perilous journey. In his dreams, he saw a figure cloaked in shadows, a woman whose face was obscured, but whose voice resonated with a haunting familiarity. "Find me, Lysander," she whispered, her tone both a plea and a command. "Only then will you understand the true nature of your quest." With a deep breath, he turned away from the cliff's edge, his resolve hardening like tempered steel. He had faced the wrath of the Cyclopes, outwitted the sirens, and navigated the treacherous labyrinth of Knossos. Yet the greatest challenge lay ahead. The heart of the sky was said to be hidden within the temple of Zephyros, a sanctuary dedicated to the god of the west wind, where only the pure of heart could enter. But the path to the temple was fraught with peril, guarded by creatures of myth and the very elements themselves. As he descended the rocky path, Lysander felt a presence behind him. He turned to find a figure emerging from the shadows, a woman draped in flowing robes that shimmered like the surface of a lake at dawn. Her hair, dark as the night sky, cascaded down her back, and her eyes sparkled with an otherworldly light. It was Callista, the daughter of the sea nymph Thalassa, whom he had saved from the clutches of the monstrous Scylla. Their bond had deepened since that fateful encounter, and she had vowed to aid him in his quest. "Lysander," she called, her voice melodic yet urgent. "The winds speak of a storm brewing, one that could thwart your journey. You must reach the temple before the tempest strikes." "Callista," he replied, his heart swelling at the sight of her. "What brings you here? I thought you would remain by the shores of your mother's realm." "I cannot abandon you," she said, stepping closer, her gaze unwavering. "You carry a weight of the world on your shoulders, and I am bound to you by fate. Together, we shall face whatever trials await us." With a nod of gratitude, Lysander took her hand, feeling the warmth of her spirit intertwine with his own. They set forth, their steps echoing through the valley as they ventured deeper into the heart of Arcadia. The air crackled with anticipation, and the sky darkened ominously, as if the gods themselves were watching their every move. As they traversed the winding paths, they encountered the first of many challenges. A great chasm lay before them, its depths shrouded in mist. The only way across was a narrow bridge woven from the gnarled roots of ancient trees, swaying precariously in the wind. Lysander felt a pang of fear grip his heart, but he steeled himself, recalling the words of his mentor, the wise old seer Tiresias. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. Stay close, he urged Callista, leading her to the edge of the bridge. With each step, the roots creaked and groaned beneath their weight, and the abyss yawned below, a dark maw ready to swallow them whole. Lysander's heart raced, but he focused on the rhythm of his breath, the steady beat of his pulse guiding him forward. "Lysander," Callista whispered, her voice trembling slightly. "What if the bridge fails?" "Then we shall fall together," he replied, his tone resolute. "But I will not let go of your hand." With that promise, they pressed on, the chasm narrowing as they approached the center. Suddenly, a fierce gust of wind swept through the valley, sending a shiver down Lysander's spine. The roots of the bridge swayed violently, and he felt the ground beneath him tremble. "Hold on," he shouted, gripping Callista's hand tighter as they fought against the tempest. In that moment of chaos, a figure emerged from the shadows, a tall man with a flowing cloak that billowed like storm clouds. His hair crackled with electricity, and his eyes glowed with the fury of a tempest. It was Aeolus, the god of the winds, his presence commanding and fierce. "Who dares to cross my bridge?" he thundered, his voice echoing like rolling thunder. "Only those worthy may pass." Lysander stepped forward, his heart pounding. "I seek the temple of Zephyros, great Aeolus. I am on a quest to reclaim the heart of the sky, a relic of immense power that can unite the realms of gods and mortals." Aeolus regarded him with a piercing gaze, his expression inscrutable. "Many have sought the heart, yet few have understood its true nature. What makes you worthy, mortal?" Lysander felt the weight of the question settle upon him like a heavy cloak. "I have faced monsters and trials, but it is not my strength that defines me. It is my love for those I seek to protect, my desire to bring harmony to a world torn apart by strife." The god's eyes softened, and the winds around them began to calm. "Very well, Lysander. You shall prove your worth through a trial of the heart. You must face the tempest of doubt, a storm that will test your resolve and the strength of your bond with Callista." With a wave of his hand, Aeolus summoned a swirling vortex of wind and rain that enveloped the bridge, transforming it into a tempestuous sea. Waves crashed around them, and Lysander felt the ground beneath his feet shift and sway. "Stay close," he shouted, pulling Callista to him as the storm raged. The winds howled like a chorus of lost souls, and Lysander's mind was flooded with visions of failure. He saw himself standing alone, the heart of the sky slipping through his fingers, the world descending into chaos. "You are not strong enough," a voice taunted from the depths of the storm. "You will never succeed." But amidst the chaos, Callista's voice broke through the din. "Lysander, remember who you are. You are not alone in this fight. We are bound by our hearts, and together we can withstand any storm." Her words ignited a spark within him, a flame of determination that pushed back against the encroaching darkness. "You are right," he shouted, his voice rising above the tempest. "I will not let doubt consume me. I fight for love, for unity, for a future where gods and mortals can coexist." With that declaration, Lysander felt the winds shift, the storm beginning to relent as he focused on the bond he shared with Callista. They stood together, hand in hand, their hearts beating in unison, and the tempest began to dissipate, revealing the bridge once more, solid and unyielding. Aeolus watched with a mixture of approval and awe. "You have faced the tempest of doubt and emerged stronger. Your bond is indeed a force to be reckoned with, filled with a palpable energy that thrummed in the air." Statues of the gods lined the walls, their eyes seeming to follow Lysander and Callista as they moved deeper into the sacred space. The heart of the temple pulsed with a radiant light, illuminating the path ahead. But as they approached the inner sanctum, a figure emerged from the shadows, cloaked in a robe of azure that shimmered like the ocean. It was Thea, the Titaness of sight, and the divine mother of the sun and moon. Her presence was both awe-inspiring and intimidating, and Lysander felt a shiver run down his spine.
"Lysander," she intoned, her voice echoing like the gentle lapping of waves against the shore. "You seek the heart of the sky, but know this, the path to power is fraught with sacrifice. Are you prepared to pay the price?" Lysander's heart raced as he considered her words. "I am willing to do whatever it takes to restore balance to our world." Thea's gaze pierced through him, as if she could see the very essence of his soul. "Then you must confront the shadows of your past, the regrets that haunt you. Only by facing them can you truly claim the heart." With a wave of her hand, the temple transformed, and Lysander found himself standing in a darkened landscape, a mirror of his own memories. Shadows flickered at the edges of his vision, and he felt the weight of his past mistakes pressing down upon him. "Lysander," a voice called, soft and familiar. He turned to see his younger sister, Ilara, standing before him, her eyes filled with sorrow. "You left me behind. You promised to protect me, yet you chose your quest over our family." The guilt surged within him like a tidal wave, crashing against the walls he had built around his heart. "Ilara, I do not deny it," she cried, her voice echoing in the emptiness. "You sought glory while I suffered. You abandoned me when I needed you most." Lysander felt the tears welling in his eyes, the weight of his choices crashing down upon him. "I thought I was doing what was right. I thought I could save our family by becoming a hero. But at what cost?" Ilara's voice softened, filled with a haunting sadness. "You cannot change the past, Lysander. You must face the truth of your actions if you wish to move forward." As her words resonated within him, Lysander felt the shadows coiling around him, threatening to consume him. But he remembered Callista's strength, the bond they shared, and the love that had guided him thus far.
I am sorry, Ilara, he whispered, his voice trembling. I was wrong to leave you. I should have fought for you, for us. In that moment of vulnerability, the shadows began to recede, and Ilara's figure shimmered like a mirage. Only by acknowledging your past can you find the strength to forge a new path. Remember, Lysander, love is the greatest power of all. With her final words echoing in his mind, the darkness faded, and he found himself back in the temple, a light of the heart of the sky illuminating the chamber. Callista stood beside him, her eyes filled with concern. What happened? You were lost in the shadows. I faced my past, he replied, his voice steady. I realized that to move forward, I must embrace my mistakes and learn from them. Thea nodded, her expression approving. You have shown great courage, Lysander. The heart of the sky awaits you, but know that its power comes with responsibility. Use it wisely. As she gestured toward the pedestal at the center of the chamber, Lysander felt a surge of energy coursing through him. The heart of the sky pulsed with a radiant light, a jewel of indescribable beauty that seemed to hold the very essence of the heavens within its depths. But as he stepped forward to claim it, a sudden tremor shook the temple, and the ground beneath them began to crack. The balance of power is shifting, Callista cried, her voice filled with urgency. We must act quickly. With a fierce determination, Lysander reached for the heart, feeling its warmth envelop him in a cocoon of light. As his fingers brushed against the jewel, a surge of energy coursed through him, igniting a fire within his soul. He could feel the whispers of the gods, their voices intertwining with his own, guiding him toward his destiny. But the temple continued to tremble, and Lysander knew that their journey was far from over. The heart of the sky was now in his grasp, but the true test lay ahead. The forces that sought to disrupt the balance of the realms would not rest easily, and he and Callista would need to confront the darkness that threatened to engulf them. Together, he said, turning to Callista, his resolve unwavering. We will face whatever comes next. We will protect our world and each other. As the light of the heart pulsed in rhythm with their hearts, they prepared to step into the unknown, ready to embrace the challenges that awaited them on their epic journey toward destiny. Part 4. The Labyrinth of Shadows. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden hue over the rugged hills of Arcadia, where the air was thick with the scent of wild thyme and the distant echoes of a forgotten past. Here, amidst the whispering winds and rustling leaves, our hero, Lysander, stood at the precipice of a new adventure, the weight of destiny heavy upon his shoulders. The trials he had faced thus far had forged him into a warrior of both body and spirit. Yet the path ahead promised challenges that would test not only his mettle, but the very essence of his soul. Lysander's heart raced as he recalled the words of the oracle, her voice a haunting melody that lingered in his mind. To find the truth of your lineage, you must descend into the labyrinth of shadows, where the echoes of the past intertwine with the threads of fate. There, you shall confront the specters of those who came before you, and only through their trials will you uncover the key to your destiny. With a deep breath, he steeled himself against the chill that crept into his bones, a foreboding whisper of the darkness that awaited him. The entrance to the labyrinth loomed before him, a gaping maw carved into the earth, its edges adorned with ancient runes that glimmered faintly in the twilight. The air was thick with an otherworldly energy, as if the very stones held the memories of countless souls who had ventured into its depths. "Are you ready, Lysander?" came a voice from behind him, smooth as silk, yet laced with an edge of concern. It was Callista, his steadfast companion, her emerald eyes shimmering with determination. She had been with him through every trial, her spirit a beacon of light in the encroaching darkness. "I must be," he replied, his voice steady despite the turmoil within. "For the truth lies within, and I cannot turn back now." As they stepped into the labyrinth, the world outside faded into silence, replaced by the echoing footfalls that reverberated through the stone corridors. The walls were slick with moisture, and the air grew colder with each step. Wrapping around them like a shroud, shadows danced at the edges of their vision, flickering like the remnants of forgotten dreams. "Stay close," Callista urged, her hand brushing against his arm, a tether to the light. "The labyrinth is known to play tricks on the mind." Lysander nodded, though he could feel the pull of the shadows, a seductive whisper that beckoned him deeper into the abyss. "I can hear them," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. "The voices of the past." "Focus on our goal," she reminded him, her tone firm yet gentle. "We seek the truth of your lineage, not the echoes of despair." As they ventured deeper, the labyrinth shifted around them, the paths twisting and turning like the serpentine coils of a great beast. Each corner they turned revealed new chambers, each more foreboding than the last. In one, they encountered a statue of a forgotten hero, his stone visage etched with sorrow and regret, a testament to the burdens of glory. In another, a pool of water shimmered with an ethereal light, reflecting not their faces, but the faces of those who had come before. Warriors, kings, and gods, all entwined in a tapestry of fate.
"Look," Callista exclaimed, pointing to the pool. "It shows your ancestors, Lysander. They are reaching out to you." Lysander knelt before the water, his heart pounding as he gazed into the depths. Faces flickered in and out of view. His father, a fierce warrior with eyes like storm clouds. His mother, a gentle spirit with a smile that could light the darkest night. But among them, a figure emerged, cloaked in shadows, a presence both familiar and terrifying. "Who are you?" Lysander called, his voice echoing in the chamber. "What do you want from me?" The figure stepped forward, the shadows swirling around it like a tempest. "I am the keeper of secrets," it intoned, its voice a haunting melody that resonated within the very marrow of his bones. "I guard the truths that bind your bloodline, the legacy that flows through your veins." "What must I do to uncover this legacy?" Lysander demanded, his resolve hardening. "To know your past, you must confront your greatest fears," the keeper replied, extending a hand that shimmered with an otherworldly light. "Only then will you be worthy of the knowledge you seek." With a nod, Lysander accepted the challenge, his heart racing with a mix of dread and determination. "I will face whatever lies ahead." As the keeper's hand enveloped his, the world around him dissolved into a whirlwind of shadows, and he found himself standing in a vast arena, the air thick with the scent of blood and sweat. The ground trembled beneath his feet, and the roar of an unseen crowd echoed in his ears, a cacophony of voices urging him on. "Welcome, champion," a voice boomed, rich and resonant. From the shadows emerged a figure clad in armor,
his face obscured by a helm that gleamed like polished obsidian. You stand before the specters of your ancestors, and today you shall fight for your legacy. Lysander's heart raced as he recognized the arena from tales of old, where heroes were forged in the fires of combat, where the line between glory and despair blurred into oblivion. "What must I do?" he shouted, his voice rising above the din. "Defeat the specters that haunt you, and you shall earn the right to know your past," the armored figure declared, raising a sword that glimmered with the light of 1,000 stars. "But beware, for they are not mere shadows. They are the manifestations of your fears." As the ground shook, figures began to materialize from the darkness. Warriors clad in tattered armor, their eyes hollow and filled with anguish. Each bore the weight of their own regrets, their voices a haunting chorus that echoed in Lysander's mind. "Face us, Lysander," they cried, their voices a blend of anger and sorrow. "You cannot escape the truth." With a surge of adrenaline, Lysander drew his sword, its blade gleaming with the promise of victory. "I will not be designed by fear," he roared, charging into the fray. The clash of steel rang through the arena as Lysander fought with a ferocity born of desperation. Each strike was a testament to his resolve, each parry a defiance against the shadows that sought to consume him. The specters were relentless, their attacks fueled by the weight of their own failures. But Lysander pressed on, the memory of his loved ones spurring him forward. "Remember who you are," Callista's voice echoed in his mind, a reminder of the strength that lay within. "You are not alone." With renewed vigor, Lysander unleashed a flurry of strikes, his movements a dance of grace and power. He could feel the shadows retreating, their forms flickering like candle flames in the wind. With one final, mighty blow, he cleaved through the last spectre, the echoes of their anguish fading into silence. Breathless and battered, Lysander stood amidst the remnants of the battle, the arena now eerily quiet. The armored figure approached, nodding in approval. "You have faced your fears and emerged victorious. Your lineage is one of strength and resilience, forged in the fires of adversity." As the shadows receded, the Keeper of Secrets reappeared, its presence a calming balm against the chaos. "You have proven yourself worthy, Lysander. Now, the truth of your lineage shall be revealed." With a wave of its hand, the air shimmered, and visions began to unfold before him. Scenes of valor and sacrifice, of ancestors who had fought against insurmountable odds to protect their kin. He saw his father, a warrior who had stood against the tides of war, and his mother, a healer whose compassion had brought hope to the desolate. But amidst the triumphs, darker truths emerged. Betrayals that had splintered their legacy, choices that had led to sorrow. Lysander's heart ached as he witnessed the struggles of those who had come before him, their sacrifices a testament to the weight of their bloodline. "Your lineage is not without its shadows," the Keeper intoned, its voice a gentle reminder. "You must learn from their mistakes, for the path ahead is fraught with peril." "I will honor their legacy," Lysander vowed, his voice steady. "I will not let their sacrifices be in vain." The Keeper nodded, a flicker of approval in its ethereal gaze. "Then you are ready to continue your journey. But beware, for the labyrinth is not yet finished with you." As the visions faded, the arena dissolved into darkness, and Lysander found himself back in the labyrinth, Callista at his side, her eyes wide with concern. "What happened? I felt your struggle." I face the specters of my past, he replied, his voice heavy with emotion. I learned of my lineage, the sacrifices made for our bloodline. But there is still more to uncover. Then we shall press on, she declared, her resolve unwavering. Together we will face whatever challenges await us. With renewed determination, they ventured deeper into the labyrinth, the shadows shifting around them like a living entity. Each step echoed with the weight of their purpose, the air thick with anticipation. The path twisted and turned, leading them to a chamber adorned with ancient murals depicting the gods of Olympus, their visages both majestic and terrifying. In the center of the chamber stood a pedestal, upon which rested a shimmering crystal orb, pulsating with a light that seemed to call to Lysander. "What is this?" he wondered aloud, stepping closer. "It is said to hold the knowledge of the gods," Callista replied, her voice tinged with awe. "But be cautious, such power comes with a price." As Lysander reached for the orb, a voice boomed from the shadows, rich and commanding. "Who dares to seek the knowledge of the divine?" From the darkness emerged a figure cloaked in robes of midnight, a crown of stars resting upon its brow. It was Nyx, the primordial goddess of night, her presence both awe-inspiring and intimidating. "You tread upon sacred ground, mortal. What do you seek?" "I seek the truths of my lineage," Lysander replied, his heart pounding. "I wish to understand the legacy that binds me to the gods." Nyx regarded him with piercing eyes, a flicker of intrigue dancing within their depths. "Many have sought the knowledge of the gods, yet few are prepared for the burden it brings. Are you willing to accept the consequences of your desire?" "I am," he declared, his voice unwavering. "I will bear any burden to honor my ancestors." With a nod, Nyx gestured toward the orb. "Then gaze into its depths, and may the truth guide you." As Lysander peered into the orb, visions swirled before him. Glimpses of battles fought in the name of honor, of alliances forged in blood, and of betrayals that had shattered the very fabric of his lineage. He saw the gods themselves, their faces twisted with ambition and jealousy. After a grim dash of gorgeous visions in intimate pasty, Nyx trembled and said, "I will bear any burden to honor my ancestors." With a nod, Nyx gestured toward the orb. "Then gaze into its depths, and may the truth guide you." As Lysander peered into the orb, visions swirled before him, glimpses of battles fought in the name of honor, obstacles that had shattered the very fabric of his lineage, their actions shaping the destinies of mortals like pawns on a chessboard.
But amidst the chaos, a singular truth emerged, a prophecy entwined with his fate, a revelation that sent chills down his spine. "You are destined to confront a great darkness," the voice of the orb intoned, echoing in his mind. "A darkness that seeks to consume not only your lineage, but the very essence of the world itself." As the visions faded, Lysander staggered back, his heart racing. "What must I do?" he gasped, the weight of the prophecy settling upon him like a shroud. "You must gather allies," Nyx advised, her voice a soothing balm against the turmoil. "Seek those who share your purpose, for the path ahead will be fraught with peril. Only together can you hope to stand against the encroaching darkness." With a newfound sense of purpose, Lysander turned to Callista, her eyes filled with determination. "We must find allies, those who will stand with us against this darkness. Then,
Let us leave this labyrinth behind, she replied, her spirit unyielding. The world awaits, and our journey is far from over. As they made their way back through the twisting corridors, the shadows seemed to recede, the labyrinth yielding to their resolve. Each step brought them closer to the surface, to the world beyond, where allies awaited, and the battle against darkness loomed on the horizon. But as they emerged into the light, Lysander could not shake the feeling that the shadows were not finished with him yet. The prophecy echoed in his mind, a haunting reminder of the trials yet to come. The world was vast, filled with both allies and enemies, and the journey ahead would demand every ounce of courage and strength he possessed. With Callista by his side, he stepped into the sunlight, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. The echoes of the past had guided him thus far, but it was the future that beckoned, a tapestry of fate yet to be woven. And so, their epic journey continued, the threads of destiny intertwining as they ventured forth into the unknown, where the shadows of the past would collide with the light of hope, and the ultimate battle for their legacy awaited. Part 5. The Trials of Aetherion. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting a golden hue over the rugged peaks of Mount Othrys, where the gods once held court. Aetherion, the hero forged in the fires of destiny, stood at the precipice of a new challenge. His heart, a tempest of hope and dread, beat in rhythm with the whispers of the wind, which carried tales of trials yet to come. He had journeyed far, from the shores of Aegean to the depths of the underworld, but the weight of his quest pressed heavily upon him. The Oracle of Delphi had foretold that only through the trials of the divine would he find the strength to reclaim the stolen light of the sun, now held captive by the vengeful Titan, Hyperion. As Aetherion gazed into the horizon, a figure emerged from the shadows, cloaked in twilight. It was Nyx, the primordial goddess of night, her presence both alluring and foreboding. Her eyes, like twin obsidian stars, bore into Aetherion's soul, revealing the depths of his fears and desires. "Aetherion," she spoke, her voice a silken thread woven with the essence of dusk. "The path ahead is fraught with peril. The Titans stir, and their wrath is as fierce as the storms that rage upon the sea. You must prepare, for the trials will test not only your strength, but the very core of your spirit." Aetherion felt a shiver run through him, the weight of her words settling like a cloak of shadows. "What must I do, Nyx? I seek the light of the sun, but I fear the darkness that lies ahead." "Embrace the darkness," she replied, stepping closer, her ethereal form flickering like a candle flame. "It is in the shadows that you will find your true self. The first trial awaits you in the labyrinth of echoes, where the voices of the past will guide you or lead you astray." With a nod, Aetherion steeled himself, the fire of determination igniting within him. He had faced the underworld's terrors and the wrath of gods, but the labyrinth promised a different kind of challenge, one that would delve into the recesses of his mind and heart. The journey to the labyrinth was swift, the landscape shifting from the craggy heights of Othrys to the lush valleys of Arcadia. As he approached the entrance, a gaping maw of stone adorned with ancient runes, the air thickened with an eerie silence. The labyrinth was a living entity, its walls pulsating with the memories of those who had wandered its paths, lost to time. With a deep breath, Aetherion stepped inside, the darkness enveloping him like a shroud. The walls whispered secrets, echoes of laughter and sorrow intertwining in a haunting melody. He pressed forward, the path twisting and turning, each corner revealing fragments of his past, visions of his childhood, the warmth of his mother's embrace, the laughter of friends now lost to the tides of fate. But the echoes were not merely memories, they were manifestations of his doubts. As he turned a corner, he found himself face to face with a spectre of his former self, a boy filled with innocence and dreams. The spectre's eyes glimmered with the light of untainted hope, yet they held a shadow of despair. "Why do you seek the light, Aetherion?" the spectre asked, his voice a soft breeze that rustled the leaves of forgotten trees. "You tread a path of pain and sacrifice. Is it worth the cost?" Aetherion's heart ached at the sight of his younger self, the embodiment of all he had lost. "I seek the light to save my people, to restore balance to the world. But the darkness, it haunts me." "Then embrace it," the spectre urged, stepping closer, the air shimmering with unspoken truths. "The darkness is not your enemy. It is a part of you. Only by accepting it can you find the strength to move forward." With those words, the spectre dissolved into a swirl of shadows, leaving Aetherion alone with his thoughts. He pressed on, the echoes growing louder, a cacophony of voices that threatened to drown him. Each step felt heavier, the weight of his choices pressing down upon him like a storm cloud ready to burst. Suddenly, the labyrinth shifted, the walls closing in, and Aetherion found himself in a vast chamber illuminated by a single beam of light. In the center stood a pedestal, upon which rested a mirror, its surface rippling like water. As he approached, the mirror began to reveal visions of his journey, battles fought, allies lost, and the faces of those who had sacrificed for him. "Look closely, Aetherion," a voice echoed, resonating from the depths of the mirror. It was the voice of Athena, the goddess of wisdom, her presence a beacon of clarity amidst the chaos. "What do you see?" "I see my failures," he replied, his voice trembling. "I see the pain I have caused, the lives I have not saved." "Failures are but stepping stones to greatness," Athena said, her voice firm yet gentle. "You must learn from them, not be defined by them. The light you seek is not merely the sun's radiance. It is the light within you, forged through trials and tribulations." Aetherion's heart swelled with understanding. He had been so focused on the external quest that he had neglected the internal journey. The light he sought was not just a physical entity, it was the embodiment of hope, resilience, and love that resided within him. With newfound resolve, he reached out to touch the mirror's surface. As his fingers grazed the cool glass, a surge of energy coursed through him, illuminating his spirit with a brilliance that rivaled the sun itself. The echoes of the labyrinth transformed into a harmonious chorus, guiding him toward the exit. Emerging from the labyrinth of echoes, Aetherion stood once more beneath the open sky, the stars twinkling like distant lanterns. The night air was crisp, filled with the scent of pine and the promise of adventure. Yet his heart was heavy with the knowledge that the trials were far from over. As he journeyed onward, the landscape shifted once more, revealing the shores of a tempestuous sea. The waves crashed against the rocks, sending sprays of salt water into the air, like the cries of lost souls. Aetherian felt a pull, an undeniable force drawing him toward the water's edge. There, upon the shore, stood a figure cloaked in sea foam and shadows. The Nereid, Thetis, her beauty ethereal and haunting. Her hair flowed like liquid silver, and her eyes held the depth of the ocean's mysteries. Aetherian, she called, her voice a melodic whisper that danced upon the wind. You seek the light, yet you must first confront the depths of your own heart. The next trial awaits you beneath the waves. What must I do? He asked, the weight of her gaze piercing through him. The sea holds the memories of all who have drowned in despair, she replied. You must dive into the depths and confront the shadows that lurk beneath the surface. Only then can you emerge renewed, ready to face the Titan's wrath. With a nod, Aetherian steeled himself, salt of the sea mingling with the sweat of determination. He waded into the water, the cool embrace of the ocean wrapping around him like a lover's caress. As he submerged, the world above faded into a distant memory, replaced by the enchanting silence of the deep. The ocean floor stretched before him, a realm of wonders and terrors. Coral gardens bloomed like vibrant dreams, while shadows danced in the periphery, whispering secrets of the abyss. Aetherian swam deeper, the pressure of the water pressing against him, each stroke a battle against the weight of his fears. Suddenly, the waters darkened, and he found himself in a cavern illuminated by bioluminescent creatures that glowed like stars fallen from the heavens. In the center of the cavern lay a throne of coral, upon which sat a figure cloaked in darkness. Kronos, the Titan of time, his eyes like black holes that threatened to swallow the light. Aetherian, Kronos intoned, his voice a rumble of thunder. You seek the light, yet you are but a fleeting moment in the vastness of eternity. Do you truly believe you can challenge the Titans? I do, Aetherian replied, his voice steady despite the fear that gripped his heart. I will reclaim the light for my people, no matter the cost. Kronos chuckled, a sound like the grinding of stones. Then you must face the truth of your existence. Time is a relentless tide, and every choice you make ripples through the ages. Are you prepared to bear the weight of your decisions? With a wave of his hand, Kronos conjured visions of Aetherian's past, moments of triumph and despair, choices made and paths not taken. Aetherian watched, his heart heavy with regret and longing. Each vision was a reminder of the sacrifices he had made, the lives intertwined with his fate. Do you see? Kronos asked, his voice echoing through the cavern. You are not merely a hero. You are a tapestry woven with the threads of countless lives. To reclaim the light, you must accept the darkness that comes with it. Aetherian felt the truth of those words resonate within him. He had fought against the shadows, but they were a part of him, just as the light was. With a deep breath, he embraced the darkness, allowing it to wash over him like the tide, merging with his essence. In that moment of acceptance, the cavern erupted in a blinding light, illuminating the depths of the ocean. Aetherian felt a surge of power course through him, a connection to the very fabric of existence. He was no longer just a hero. He was a force of nature, a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. As the light faded, Aetherian found himself back on the shore, the waves lapping at his feet. Thetis stood before him, her expression a mixture of pride and sorrow. You have faced the depths of your soul, Aetherian. But the final trial awaits, and it will demand the utmost sacrifice. What must I do? he asked, determination etched upon his features. You must confront Hyperion, the Titan of Light, she replied, her voice tinged with urgency. He will test your resolve and seek to extinguish the flame within you. Only by embracing both light and darkness can you hope to prevail. With a nod, Aetherin set his sights on the distant horizon, where the sun dipped below the waves, casting a fiery glow across the sky. The final trial loomed ahead, a tempest of uncertainty and danger. But he was no longer the boy who had set out on this journey. He was a hero forged in the crucible of trials, ready to reclaim the light for his people. As he stepped forward, the winds of fate howled around him, carrying the echoes of his journey, a symphony of hope, despair, and the promise of a new dawn. The stage was set for the ultimate confrontation, and Aetherin would face it with the strength of the light and the shadows intertwined within him. The sun sank beneath the waves, leaving a canvas of stars to guide him onward. The journey was far from over, but Aetherin felt the fire of determination blaze within him, illuminating the path ahead. The final trial awaited, and he would not falter. The light would be reclaimed, and the world would know his name. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over the land, the air crackled with anticipation. The winds whispered secrets of old, swirling around the hero, Lysander, as he stood upon the precipice of Mount Othrys, the very heart of the Titan's domain. His journey had been long and arduous, fraught with trials that tested not only his strength, but the very essence of his spirit. He had faced the wrath of the gods, the cunning of monsters, and the depths of despair. Yet here he stood, a beacon of resolve, ready to confront the final shadow that loomed over his fate. The Titans, ancient beings of immense power and pride, had long been imprisoned beneath the earth, their fury simmering like molten lava. They had whispered promises of revenge into the ears of mortals, sowing discord and chaos. Lysander had been chosen, not merely by fate, but by the gods themselves, to quell this uprising and restore balance to the world. His heart thrummed with the weight of destiny, a rhythm that echoed the pulse of the earth beneath him. As he ascended the mountain, the air thickened with tension, each step resonating with the echoes of past battles. The sky darkened, swirling clouds gathering like a tempest, and from within their depths emerged the figure of Cronus, the Titan King, his visage a tapestry of rage and sorrow. His eyes, like twin abysses, bore into Lysander's soul, searching for weakness, for doubt. "Foolish mortal," Cronus thundered, his voice a rumble that shook the very foundations of the mountain. "You dare challenge the might of the Titans? You are but a fleeting shadow in the annals of time." Lysander stood firm, his heart a steady drumbeat against the cacophony of fear. "I am not here to challenge you, Cronus. I am here to end your tyranny. Your reign of darkness has suffocated the light of humanity for too long. It is time for the dawn." With those words, the air shimmered and the ground trembled as Cronus unleashed his fury. A wave of energy surged forth, a tempest of shadows and despair, seeking to engulf Lysander. But the hero, drawing upon the strength of his allies, Athena's wisdom, Apollo's light, and the fierce loyalty of his companions, stood his ground. He raised his sword, forged from the very essence of the stars, its blade gleaming with a celestial glow. "By the light of the gods, I will not falter," he cried, and with a mighty swing, he cleaved through the darkness, sending ripples of light cascading through the shadows. The clash of their powers sent shockwaves through the mountain, rocks splintering and the earth quaking beneath them. The battle raged on, a dance of light and shadow, each strike resonating with the weight of their histories. Lysander fought not just for himself, but for every soul that had suffered under the Titan's reign. Memories surged through him, faces of loved ones, the laughter of children, the warmth of a home. Each thought fueled his resolve, igniting a fire within that burned brighter than any darkness. Cronus, sensing the shift in the tide, unleashed his most potent weapon, a storm of despair that sought to engulf Lysander's heart. Visions of failure, of loss, of the sacrifices made along the way flashed before him, each one a dagger aimed at his spirit. For a moment, doubt crept in, whispering insidious thoughts that clawed at his resolve. But then, from the depths of his heart, a voice rose, a chorus of the fallen, of those who had fought and bled for freedom. "You are not alone, Lysander," they cried. "We stand with you." The memories of his companions surged forth, their faces glowing with encouragement, their spirits entwined with his own. In that moment, he understood. His strength was not merely his own. It was the collective will of those who believed in him. With renewed vigor, he charged forward, the light of hope illuminating his path. "You will not win, Cronus. Your time has passed." He swung his sword with a ferocity born of love and sacrifice, striking at the heart of the Titan King. The blade met Cronus's chest, and for a heartbeat, time stood still. The world held its breath as the light of Lysander's spirit clashed against the darkness of the Titan's despair. In that moment, the air shimmered, and a blinding light erupted from the point of contact, engulfing them both. The clash of their powers sent shockwaves through the mountain, and the very fabric of reality trembled. Lysander felt the warmth of the sun embrace him, the whispers of the gods wrapping around him like a protective shroud. He was not merely a warrior. He was a vessel of hope, a beacon of light in a world shrouded in darkness. As the light faded, Lysander found himself standing amidst a serene landscape, the remnants of the battle dissipating like mist. Cronus lay defeated, his form crumbling into dust, the shadows that had once clung to him, now scattered like leaves in the wind. The Titan's reign had come to an end, their power diminished, their fury quelled. With the victory came a profound silence, a stillness that enveloped the land. Lysander fell to his knees, the weight of his journey crashing over him like a tidal wave. He had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, but at what cost? The echoes of the fallen lingered in his heart, a bittersweet reminder of the sacrifices made along the way. As he gazed upon the horizon, the first light of dawn broke through the clouds, painting the sky in hues of gold and crimson. It was a new beginning, a promise of hope and renewal. The world would heal, and in time, the scars of battle would fade, replaced by the beauty of life reborn. Lysander rose, his heart swelling with a mixture of grief and gratitude. He had transformed through this journey, forged by fire and tempered by love. No longer was he merely a warrior. He was a guardian of peace, a champion of hope. The burdens he carried would never fully fade, but they had shaped him into a beacon for others to follow. As he descended the mountain, the winds carried whispers of his triumph, tales of a hero who had faced the darkness and emerged victorious. The people of the land would sing songs of his bravery, of the light that had pierced through the shadows. And in the quiet moments of reflection, Lysander would remember the faces of those who had fought beside him, their spirits forever intertwined with his own. In the days that followed, the world began to heal. Fields that had once been barren bloomed with vibrant colors, and laughter echoed through the valleys. The gods, witnessing the transformation, smiled upon the earth, their blessings flowing like a gentle stream. Lysander, now a symbol of hope, traveled from village to village, sharing stories of resilience and courage, igniting the flames of hope in the hearts of those he encountered. As night fell, he found solace beneath the stars, the constellations twinkling like the eyes of the gods watching over him. He lay upon the soft grass, the cool breeze caressing his skin, and closed his eyes. In the stillness of the night, he reflected on his journey, the trials, the triumphs, and the bonds forged in the crucible of battle. In that peaceful moment, he understood that true strength lay not in the sword or the shield, but in the love and unity of those who stood together against the darkness. He had become a part of something greater than himself, a tapestry woven with the threads of countless lives. As sleep began to embrace him, Lysander felt a profound sense of peace wash over him. The world was not perfect, but it was alive, vibrant, and filled with the promise of tomorrow. He drifted into dreams, where the laughter of children danced upon the breeze, and the light of hope shone brightly, illuminating the path for all who dared to follow. And so, the hero of the ages, Lysander, closed his eyes, surrendering to the embrace of the night, knowing that the dawn would always come, and with it, the promise of a new beginning.